was in 2008, and he and his future ex-husband were getting married, and he was he was American born, but the family was Norwegian or Scandinavian or something. And I'm like, it was like watching these two. How do I describe it? It looked like two of the children of the corn. Both had personal trainers, fantastic abs, and were in a same-sex marriage.
Okay.
That's
isn't that what they all? Isn't that what they all?
Yeah,
look
that
like?
was a mental
Come
picture.
on, Mike. That's. Hey, don't write yourself off yet. It's only in your head you feel left out.
Well done.
Look down on.
Call back.
Try your best. just be yourself. It doesn't matter what the bitter hearts are gonna say.
Get it.
It just takes some time, little girl in the middle of the ride. Everything'll be all right. Everything'll be just fine. That was for Gregory coming in hot. My little love ballad to Gregory. How you doing today, Greg?
That was for me.
That was for you because you admitted you admitted to the Jimmy Eat World phase last week. So, giving my love ballad to you and going back to, what we talked about the other week as far as like, why do we like this?
I appreciate that. I would not call it a phase. And I appreciate the beautiful rendition of that song. You karaoke the fuck out of that.
Hey, firstly, I lean into it. And secondly, if you just take the initials of Jimmy Eat World, it spells Jew. So, we were all down for that. We were all the fuck in on that. The
guy who gave me the Sag Prevails album, his nickname was Matzo Ball.
There you go. All right. The matzo ball. Yeah.
It was not ironic. It's not.
Hey,
Shout out to Scott.
Scott. Okay. All right. Scott. I was hoping for Shlomo. I was hoping for like a really going with that. Like,
but Scott's definitely probably in Florida right now, rooting for someone not to get indicted. I can tell you that much. If you want about trading within your lines. I love my guy, but hey, you can't bring everyone with you.
That seems to be the tone of the conversation we were having before the show started here. But as Josh, the Birdman, we are here. We have assembled once again. We have slaughtered the goats, said the rights, and we are ready to proceed with the benevolent order of the steam. Gentlemen, your number one podcast for pop culture and social commentary. I'm joined, as you heard, by Gregory and Rashawn. Coming on in. Greg, how you doing this fine day?
Oh, doing all right, man. Got a proper size buzz, nothing irresponsible. And I want to say good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to the listeners out there, because we got people in Asia.
Oh, yeah. And
we do.
Wait, maybe allegedly. India. There's a listener. There's one listener, I think, in India. That's and God bless you. So whoever that may be, like I say, we're happy to have it there. By the way, Greg, I'm going to call you out real quick because you, when we were talking in our last episode about the newest Avatar movie, the James Cameron one, And you said basically it was a remake of the first one, and I'm calling your ass out. So I watched it with my kids this weekend, and that was a remake of the third G.I. Joe full length ones. Remember those ones they broadcast over 2 or 3 days? That's 100%. I'm like watching this. I'm like, oh, they've got the C command now when the subs and the newer action figures that they can introduce. This was totally like how to upgrade the brand and totally how to bring it along. So
I love how you two geniuses showed up to James Cameron's Avatar expecting originality. Like, well done.
Just saying, especially when he touts himself. And Rashawn, how you doing today? So now I got you on the line.
What it do? How do you do? Happy to be with all of you. And since we are leaning into our favorite Jew, not the Birdman, I'm going to go ahead and remind people, can't depend on honest answers from dependent hands. Won't accept an honest answer from an open hand.
Oh, going deep on that one.
Call it In the Air, in case anyone was wondering what song that is. By Jew.
There we go. Well,
fun story. Jimmy Eat World is actually named after one of the band's friends' little brothers. It was actually a result of 2 of the little brothers having a fight. And I think the youngest responded with what happened. He said, Jimmy Eat World. And they're like, well, that's the band name.
That's the band name, and there we go. So all these origin stories, ours being from a missent one of my notorious typos in our text conversations. Here we are, all these years later.
That shaped more of the world's history than people think.
It is June, which happens to be my birthday month, but we can't forget it is Pride Month. It is indeed where we want to pay some homage to our LGBTQIA plus brothers and sisters. Remember, it's always worth it to spring for the extra money for the plus. You get the free shipping, the free parking, since we brought in our official Steam ambassador to the community, Mike, what else do you get with the plus membership? Has anything changed in the last year since we had you on?
A couple things. So with LGBTQ plus, you do get free and ample parking in Provincetown does come with that. So obviously the monthly membership fee will clearly offset that quick. And you can we actually added a few things now. You can automatically upgrade for free on anything gluten-free at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' brands caught on, and they are now part of LGBTQ plus. And if you can ask for gluten-free or just say I've got LGBTQ plus, and they will actually ruin 2 of your orders and misspell your name for free. Nice. So it's a nice thing.
That pays itself back in at least a year that you have to put the membership in it easily. I think that's easily that clears the cost. But we got Mike Gleason on the show. He's my friend, my blockbuster brother in arms, comedian extraordinaire. Mike, I love the stories mainly about your father getting you in the car to go worship Jesus. Those are by far my favorite. That and your mother trying to learn slang terms for vagina. It's a toss up between what stories I love more. But they're both pretty damn funny, and I feel like there was plenty of crossover there. But Mike is a comedian working his way up through the ranks here, coming on up to the New England scene. So we wanted to have him on and talk to him, say hi, get to hear some of your famous insights. Like I said, you were the first one to make me aware of the membership benefits. So
that's right, LGBTQ plus. That's right. You get the free. You can also tell RuPaul or Ellen DeGeneres that they are giving you a headache. Or they're giving you, or they're making your acid reflux act up.
That's worth it right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still not going to do that to RuPaul, but I'll take my chances with DeGeneres.
Yeah, you can tell them.
That she's a cornered animal right now, man. She might be at her most dangerous.
Yeah, that took a turn. I remember watching the show, and it all seemed so nice. It was one of those nice veneers and all that. She danced and. It was all like, yeah, my wife loved that show for a while. That was before we had kids.
And she started COVID.
Yeah. Oh, no. Dun, dun, dun. That's it. Yes. Her and Portia. Was it Portia? Is it Portia's fault that the COVID as well? Or,
Ironically, not Portia.
Okay. All right. Go figure. But yes, we come here. This is a little bit, I think I felt like we sort of felt a little bit more like a social commentary episode today, a little bit, but we're going to get to the pop culture because you might have heard there's been a little bit of hubbub, around, out and about with rainbows this year. Rainbows have been causing quite the ruckus. All the rainbows, and the T in the LGBTQ community, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one's angry at the L and the G anymore. It's all about the T. It's all about the T, apparently, and spilling the tea and what's going on the T in Target, as well as the tea going on with Anheuser-Busch. And, I found myself kind of watching it all with a little bit of dismay, a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of what the fuck? Yes. It started, of course, with Bud Light. And I guess they gave a single 6-pack to Dylan Mulvaney, right? It wasn't even like a line of 6-packs. It was one beer. It was a one beer. Or was it like 1 6-pack?
It was a sixer. It was a
sixer. It was 1 6. I mean, which probably cost them more to produce than the damn, I have no idea. You know what I'm saying?
I would honestly be surprised if there was actually beer in it. Like the whole way through, I thought it was just a prop and whatever. Who cares?
Right.
That's how all of us should have walked away from it with.
And it went to, and keep in mind too, this was on her social media. This was on Instagram, right? This wasn't even a major campaign. This was not the I don't mind it, but you're putting it in my face thing. Like, you had to find 100%. This shit. You had to be a follower of Miss Mulvaney in the first place. But everybody apparently seems to have lost their goddamn minds. But it put me and a few of us allies in a somewhat strange place, because I think we've all discussed already on the show. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Come in Tokyo.
Yeah, I for those of you listening, that was accidentally hitting my earphone and starting another one of our episodes. There you go. But it put us in a slightly unadvantageous position, because, as we had said, in fact, none of us drink Bud Light. I think we all pretty much confirmed that. Mike, are you joining us on that? Were you a Bud Light guy before all this?
I actually have quit drinking. And Thank you. I will tell you, pushing the lawnmower on a day like this here, it's 85 degrees in Massachusetts, which is like sweltering. A couple of Bud Lights, Sam Light, Miller Light, those don't go bad after pushing around the lawnmower or pushing around, the leaf blower or something like that. I gotta tell you, they wash down quite nicely.
Yeah, well, the working man's Gatorade was another term I heard for all those years ago, right? Like you said, it was, and the age-old joke about American beer, particularly Bud Light, and making love in a canoe. They're both fucking close to water. I mean, I heard all that
yes,
stuff.
Yes, they are.
Right? It's so, yeah. I mean,
I thought you would put the canoe on the shore.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
I'm not a risk taker. That's my problem.
Okay, that's it.
I'm
that's
super
it.
vanilla.
and there's your younger days, maybe, I don't know, but yeah, there I am thinking about it. And then it goes to Target, and apparently, the devil made certain swimsuits in Target. Either I couldn't tell if it was just because they had rainbows on them, or allegedly there was a place for trans adults, by the way, to put their parts if need be. That was like a lot of what was out there. I love the it was designed by a Satanist thing, going back to the original Cabbage Patch doll fear, because that was what the evangelical group in the 1980s also said, that the Cabbage Patch doll was designed by a Satanist, and he would basically curse it, each one with a demon, when putting it, because it had his signature on the butt of the
Birdman. Have you met an evangelical?
I can't say. Yeah. Many years ago.
Let me give you the crib notes. Everything is designed by Satan. Everything has literally taken its turn.
So much Satan.
Yes,
So
a
much.
lot of Satan.
I mean,
But-
Satan's got a lot of fucking goals if you go by them. I mean, Satan, I'm not sure how he's getting anything done, let alone taking a share of piss any day of the week, because apparently this guy's after like a million different things.
He's a busy man, okay? That
All
guy
pretty petty when you think about it. Pretty
that
damn
guy
petty.
hustles.
Like
But
bathing suits.
beer? Shitty beer?
Not very
at
high
that?
targets there, Mr. Satan.
But I figured I wanted to bring in our man on the scene to
Thank
maybe break down this rainbow capitalism, the pink dollars, the gay bucks, if you will, and kind of walk through some history for us for 3-year allies here. So maybe we can help educate people out there and help find out, and that includes Disney making some of their characters LGBTQ plus. Disney, which of course, right, more Satan. We already heard about that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was Satan.
Much Satan.
That was Satan as well. But yeah, walk it through. Talk to us. Tell us.
Get your shit together.
Tell us what's going on out there.
So first and foremost, Rashawn, Greg, and Josh, thank you for having me back. I absolutely love this podcast. You guys are a trip, and thanks for that shout out a few weeks ago. It really means a lot.
Love you, Mike.
Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you, and it's great. I'm so glad that we connect on social media. It means a lot. So I'm going to start with four words.
I love Mike too. I just didn't want to follow it up after Rashawn said it, because then it just seemed like I was, just jumping on Rashawn's idea. So I didn't want to do it, but I just wanted to say I love Mike too. But
I love the three of you. It's a great. I have 3 older brothers, but I believe God has given me other brothers and siblings over the years, and I definitely feel that. So thank you.
Right on.
Thank you. I'm going to preface by saying 4 words. We have always existed. Okay. Is Harvard opened up in like the mid 1600s. There were gay conclaves at Harvard College in colonial America. When Washington, D.C. got mapped out in the 1800s, they were the old, you don't call it, it's obviously politically incorrect, but the old term for 2 guys living together were Miss Fancies or your Aunt Nancy's. And that one bachelor president was a Miss Fancy, and then he went and lived with a roommate, wink, after his term ended. And I don't know whether or not Abraham Lincoln was in a marriage of convenience. I don't know enough about him, but we've always existed. So here's the deal. Brian and I didn't go to Pride this past weekend for the same reason I don't go to St. Patrick's Day parades. I will be just as gay as wallpaper, no matter what month or weekend of the year it is. Just as I will be 100%, I'll be just as of 100% Irish extraction, whether or not it's St. Patrick's Day. So I remember St. Patrick as a saint, but that's where we stop. Also, I do not like cabbage at all. I'm not morbidly overweight. I'm ironically overweight. So we had gay dollars, pink dollars. They're now called rainbow dollars. You get the full spectrum GLBTQ. So here's how it works. Big companies, Ford, Procter & Gamble, De Beers Diamonds, whoever makes Teddy Grahams, and graham crackers. I think whoever owns Nabisco might be Altria.
That's Altria, which is Pimo, Philip Morris.
Philip Morris. Oh, that's right. Philip Morris tied into that. They renamed themselves Altria because Philip Morris, sounds like emphysema.
Yes, I have their stock. My grandfather left me a bunch of their stock, and it keeps splitting and all those good things. So smoke up, everybody. Good times.
Oh yeah, I got stories about that company in a minute. But so we had
How will we not cover that?
Yeah,
why are we just finding that out now?
Because it's back to the Jews running the world. We all know that. Okay.
I wasn't even thinking about your religion, man. I'm thinking about the one person in front of me. You brought that up. I'm thinking about Fink is sitting on like a baby million.
I don't know about that. It's just as funny that I just always laughed because it was like, a tobacco stock, and I've been a personal trainer for all these years. But
all this time, the call was coming within the house.
That's it, man. That's
time.
It.
Sorry,
Mike.
Mike.
So anyway, Mike, they want
to. Before corporations figured us got a beat. Here's how to say it. Companies with advertising wings, or that would hire ad agencies, always had, because sex sells. There's always been some kind of sex positive stuff. All right. If you look at ad copy that would go into like Scanlons or McCall's or something at the turn of the 20th century, for like designer clothes, designer underwear from BVD and Jockey, those companies.
Yeah.
These were like really good looking guys standing next to each other in their undies.
Yeah.
Clearly chiseled, no dad bods, none of that. No beer guts like bears like myself. Them and designer clothers.
It's the cabbage.
Yeah. They never came out like Gap. The nickname for Gap is Gay and Proud, because not just because they are in San Francisco and Levi's was from California, but that designer clothing, because gay men before, and even after the same-sex marriages and the adoptions, have the discretionary income. You're not married, so say you're a certified public accountant or a doctor, and you're gay, so you don't have a wife and kids. You have the same income as the person with the wife and kids. So now you have discretionary income. So the clothing companies know this. Yes. The ad agencies know this. Okay. So just like gray dollars for senior citizens, black dollars for the African Americans, and there's always been rainbow dollars. No one ever came out and said it because of the sodomy and buggery laws, but it was always there. So, and if you look at GQ, Gentleman's Quarterly, all the ad copy for the designer clothing, that's when Gentleman's Quarterly was a quarterly magazine, GQ, that and Maxim and Playboy and Esquire were always gay and sex positive, because they know that's them, and like the New Yorker all advertised to educated, unmarried men, just unmarried men.
Right. So you're gonna cast the net wide. You're gonna catch a certain amount of them, right? When you bet. Throwing that wide amount.
So what had happened? So gay dollars has always existed, or the pink dollars, however you want to phrase it, always existed. It's always been around. As long as just think of it this way. I was in corporate America for 19 years. I worked for publicly traded companies. If there's a market for it, there's an ad campaign for it. Okay.
There you go. Mm-hmm. All right.
So moving ahead, groups like the Human Rights Campaign, the HRC, they started publishing little booklets. And there used to be before the internet took off, there was Pink Pages, which was the company's directories of companies that were gay affirming or gay owned. Excuse me, or now what we used to just call gay owned. We now call LGBTQ owned because it's more inclusive.
Thought you were going to say Abercrombie and Fitch.
Huge. Oh my God. Yeah. Abercrombie. Oh, Commercial Street in Provincetown on a Sunday afternoon in July looks like product placement for Abercrombie and American Eagle and Urban Outfitters, and anything from the Gap brands. So HRC starts releasing companies that offered domestic partner benefits and that were gay affirming in the workplace. And interestingly enough, Walmart popped in, and Shell, the Royal Dutch Shell, even though they're pretty nefarious with the environment, they and Mobil were always offering domestic partner benefits, as did Disney. They always did. larger corporations were like, it would be kind of crummy if we didn't offer the domestic partner or same-sex benefits. So here, take them. So long as you could prove cohabitation, they'd give them to you, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, so that continues along. And the gay affirming stuff has always been out there. And then when civil unions popped up in the late 90s, I remember the Pride, when I was still going to Pride, the flyers they would give out would have ad copy from Shreve Crumplin Lowe for his and his matching rings, or hers and hers matching rings.
I gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, I'm Irish, Brian's Scottish, so I've got a Celtic motif.
Okay.
The Celtic motif for the Celtics and for the Celtic and Gaelic lineage. And this was totally from, I went, through the big Jeff Bezos company there, but, they had rings, and it's clearly for 2 men or 2 women,
Right.
2 rings in men's sizes. So this has always been in the background. And that leads up to things. A lot of stuff at Pride is typically free. And one of which was the Jumbotron with all the house music and all the video footage of all the guys showing off their bods and down to their short shorts during the Pride parade. Well, guess who the corporate sponsor of that was? Anheuser-Busch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bud Light's,
all right.
Bud Light's parent. What a non-coincidence.
Well, yeah.
And Absolute Vodka, they were doing rainbow. They would take the bottle instead of the Absolute Lemon or the Absolute Pepper or whatever. They put the Prism in instead, and they put that for ad copy for Pride magazine and for like the gay, the LGBT magazines.
Right.
Out.
All
so
right.
this has been around. So this is nothing from my vantage point. This is nothing new.
Right.
That was another ad campaign. Some major vodka company, they promote RuPaul's Drag Race. It's just been around. All those ads of dapperly dressed men smoking like Dunhill cigarettes or Marlboro cigarettes or whatever, or Marlboro Country, because Marlboro Man didn't have a wife, and he had a couple packs a day.
He was rugged. He was out there on the frontier. What are you talking about?
Oh, he was on the frontier.
That's right.
Of sexual awakening.
Oh yeah. Getting vapors just thinking about it. Yeah, a little distracted right now. So yeah, we've been a target audience. We've been a segment for years. So Dylan getting a 6-pack of Bud Light on a tray, because I followed Dylan on TikTok. And that wasn't just any old, hi, I want to go have my top surgery or my whatever surgery. And these people are literally sharing some really personal details. Like, I've had my wisdom teeth out, and like people like you'd have to like ask me if I have my wisdom teeth for me to tell you I've been to an oral surgeon. Okay. So for people to tell you that they're doing stuff that's going to change their physical, their gender, their biological gender, that's hugely personal information. I congratulate them. Also, there's been a modest clothing line of unisex swimwear. It's been around for about 10 years now. So if you want to hide something or just not, and it could be of any gender identity. So this stuff has existed. It just so happens.
Shorts.
What's that?
Sorry. Umbro soccer shorts.
Yeah, Umbro soccer shorts. Yeah, exactly. Something in that same vein. Yeah. You could just go swimming in those and a shirt that just covers everything up. And that's it. We've been in this target audience. It just so happens that we're in some kind of another right-wing backlash this week's. When the right-wing tide came in this time, they decided to attack a trans woman for touting light beer.
Outrage du jour, but it's interesting to hear you talk about it, just as you say, in plain sight, been there for so long. The first one I remember, I don't remember the Toyota commercial, but I remember the Subaru ad campaigns. And I even read an article about the person who went to, was going to the Japanese parent company and explaining like we really want to market this to same-sex couples, particularly same-sex women. And it's almost a cliche now, right? It was saying, hey, we want to do that. And that was a little bit, a little bit taboo at the time to the execs, but they've tapping into the same idea that you were talking about of double income, no kids. It's like, well, there is money here to be made, and this is a good way to sell your vehicle and to increase your sales of your vehicle. And they put the ad out, and sure enough, the vehicle sales increased. So in that weird way, I mean, was it really a successful experiment, do you think, in inclusionary art, or was it just good old fashioned capitalism? I mean, does it give you the warm fuzzies, or,
what's the difference? Because as soon as money changes hands, you no longer have an objectable difference.
I think that's a really good point. Curious, Mike, what's your take on it? Then I want to hear the other gentleman chime in a little bit here.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear any feedback. I honestly, just like the Subaru, actually, I used to own a Subaru and I used to make jokes about that. But yeah, I think I just view it as I'm a target. Brian and I are a target market, and we're a target audience for television, for designer clothing, well, streaming services, what have you, and Wall Street. I mean, I was working for a bank, and I got asked if I want to join the Gay Financial Network, and they're like, "Gay? Oh, I'm feeling happy myself." And that was the joke. That no, we want to be your and coming out of the closet was huge in offices in the early 2000s. I had some homophobia in the workplace, actually. That's how I know. But so, anyways, back to the original point, and to answer your question directly, I just think it was an ad campaign. It was targeted to say, "Hey, we are trans friendly, just as we've always been gay friendly. Whether or not you go to Pride this year, you're gonna Anheuser-Busch wants you to buy some drinkies, period, and you're gonna see all kinds of high-end liquor for sale in Provincetown." And so it's nothing new, but they decided to put the focus. They decided to focus on that and have a screaming fit over this, or versus domestic partner benefits, or the right to marry, or the right to access for the hormone blockers. They decided, all right, we're going to shift now to drinks, because people over the 21 want to lawfully buy beer and have a couple of brewskis with their friends, which is the objective of drinking. So that's it.
I think that's always a good objective of drinking if you're going for it. Rashawn, you look like you got some thoughts here. I want to hear what you got to say.
You're coming back to me. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, you just hit me with the objective of drinking. I want to remind people I'm from Framingham. The objective of drinking is to get fucked up, and then we're fucking things up. That's how it gets down. That's how it is in Room 9.
You're down with the Limp Bizkit. That's what you're down with.
Let me go ahead and say Limp Bizkit. There are a few times where everyone was like, "Wait, is that Fred from what's it like?" There are a couple of times people thought that was the Framingham group for real. And also quality of music, if Greg wants to go after it. Yeah, that's totally fair too. Absolutely. I feel ashamed that this is one of the few times we have Mike on. I've, to be fair, lobbied for a different outcome, but very happy to have Mike here for so many different reasons. One, I want the viewers and the listeners, like anyone's watching this, but the listeners understand Mike brings so many facts that it just connects the dots so hard, to the point where, like, he was talking about the different filming eras and what they were sort of called inside the industry in the last one of the last episodes we had him on. I encourage people to go back and just listen to Mike. You're going to learn a whole lot. Same thing with how he was talking about advertising. I graduated with a marketing degree, so he's definitely hitting home on that. And it's funny because it kind of calls back to one of our first episodes of TSG when we were talking about the Warriors. I think actually that might have been our second episode all together.
Yeah.
In the sense that, yeah, right. And the sense that if you track what Mike is talking about, but from a consumer side, but also a production side, that's literally how they were able to, on such a very small budget, afford the costumes, whether outlandish or not, for the Warriors. Because what they did is they went into the village and they went to the discount racks of things that were on in fashion decade before they even got to it. So no matter what you're seeing in the 1977 Warriors, when it finally got filmed and released, you're looking at fashion, to Mike's point, that was marketed to individuals who had discretionary funds. Fashion that, when it came out, was hundreds of dollars in the 60s, but it was able to move product in such a good way that you could have discount stores a decade later making money off of it still, because of the actual marketing campaigns that were really happening that get caught away or taken away from sort of general America or general Western culture views that we all get caught up in these weird sort of uproars that we find ourselves in now and consistently, to the point where no one wants to actually do the numbers when we get into these uproars. Like, yeah, everyone's upset. It's like there's almost 8 billion people in the world. I guarantee you 99.9% of them never even heard of the situation, and they'll never even have to change because of the situation. And the funny part is, if we go even more base to the situation and the subject that we're talking about, which is drinking alcohol, which, full disclosure, I just want to lobby my idea that I keep trying to put out, is that we go back and look at historical events and say they're not as cute as we think they are. Because the example I want to use is prohibition. Main reason why is two things. One, prohibition proved to the United States and the rest of the world, we're here to drink. I don't give a fuck what those Protestants talked about when they got here about 400 years ago. We are here to drink, and we will break every fucking law to make sure that happens. And we proved that. But I also would like to argue that really what came about that was the fact that we were actually moving drugs during that time, and the federal government figured out how to get a piece of it, which is why our ports are so goddamn open. Why did I bring that up? Is because, once again, back to that first part, we're here to drink. You mean to tell me that there's a bunch of people out there who stopped drinking Bud Light, one of the only accessible things that they probably had on their dollar, because of this fucking campaign, no matter how they leaned on it? I guarantee you no one gave a shit about any of this. They kept drinking Bud Light all the way through. And to case in point, one of the people that had to get pointed out that they had Bud Light in their fucking bar was one of the biggest people that had the uproar about the whole campaign, Mr. Kid Rock the Third. Because he had Bud Light all through his bars. So it was like, yeah, good. Nice job shooting the 32 beers that you have in your palatial estate. What about the freaking 32 taps that you have in 2 of your bars that are currently still running that Bud Light Gold? Yeah, you don't give a shit.
I gotta go. We got a road trip right now. Steam Gentleman road trip. Mike, you're coming along. We got to go to wherever Kid Rock's barbecue is. And I love the picture of him with the next to the drag. I love the picture of him next to the drag queen in Miami, by the way. That's always my favorite. He is drinking a Bud Light then, but he's got a Coors hat on. So, Coors has always been the right beer, if you follow me there. That's always how that was. But Greg, what are you thinking here as you're hearing us pontificate? What do you got for us this week? Because we always look forward to it.
I mean, the immortal. Is this my thing?
This is your thing. It's your jam.
Right, cool.
It's always your thing, Star Child.
I can do that.
That's the
go ahead and go supernova
truth.
for us.
I can do that.
God's honest truth.
Because there's a lot, obviously, a lot changes when you are a group in the United States and you want to go from being a taboo corner of the United States to being established and accepted. And it's a big leap. And you could almost argue that part of that is when, all of those big wigs out in the middle of nowhere finally decide that they are going to, if only for their own self-gratification, #no kink shaming, kiss your ass. And they actually want to include you and want money. Now, this is a tricky thing because obviously acceptance comes at a price, and it's very shallow acceptance at the end of the day. Like, it's very, I won't even call it paper thin. It's very transparent. And so it's kind of a difficult thing because at the same time, you want acceptance. You want to be part of the mainstream. I mean, take it from a glorified misfit. No one really wants to be an outsider. Everyone wants to be accepted. To be an outsider, to be a radical, to insist on being on the outside of the mainstream is to invite a certain amount of strife and heartache, because for whatever personal reason, you want to be part of these things. You want to be part of the institution that is the United States. And damn sure it's better than other places that behead you for being gay. So when you look at all of the, advertising and just, totally shallow efforts, you don't know where to stand. So I was trying to think of the things that really moved me. They're probably still shallow though. The things that either moved me to, for it or against it, because, obviously we grew up in that period where being trans or gay or intersex was still very much a punchline, right? Bosom Buddies, Klinger, whatever the hell that movie with what was it called? I now pronounce you Chuck and something like that. Like all of these
Chuck and Larry.
Chuck and Larry.
That was it. Yeah.
People are
A
taking
lot closer to bosom buddies and clingers.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like people are taking another look at how terrible Ace Ventura was, and how difficult it is to really say, oh God, if you're gonna do this, then we'll just be outsiders. No, it's okay. I'll rather be on the outside. I just cannot see you try anymore. If
Shout out to Roy Finkel.
Right. If this is really trying. Couldn't really, yeah. Oh man, there are some tough ones. I'm not going to go through the list. There's a list of them, but I'm not going to touch them. I remember the first movie, and this, again, we've accepted everything before 2016 is problematic. So there was a movie called My Beautiful Laundrette. And I think it came out in 1984. It had a very young Daniel Day-Lewis in it. And I remember watching this and thinking to myself, is this a real gay couple? And that's what got me. I mean, again, by now they're probably really dated and passe, and I understand that because times change and we have to accept that we're always only going to be as progressive for the time. So when I first saw that movie, I kind of had to take time to digest it. Like, they weren't making fun of them. They were taking their actual lives really seriously, because I think Daniel Day-Lewis's character falls in love. It's in London. And he falls in love with an Indian boy, and there's just cultural, as you can imagine, issues there. And then on top of that, they're gay. And I felt like, what's that?
It's My Beautiful Laundrette. And
yes, in 1984.
Yep, that was in the mid 80s. And Daniel Day-Lewis, that's a good film to put on pause if Daniel Day-Lewis as playing a gay guy.
And that was my point. It was, again, you know what? I understand it's probably problematic now, but it was the first time I felt like they were being respectful, or at least trying to be.
So the author, that's based on a novel. I'm really glad you brought that up. I actually blanked on that. I read the sequel to that novel. It's called The Buddha of Suburbia, and it's about a kid. He's LGBT. He's cisgender gay and gay male, and so it's a big. Just like East is East, it's a real exploration of self-identity, because he's Indian, but he's born in the UK, just like India was part of British sovereignty, Pakistan was British sovereignty, blah blah blah. And it was the first time that outside of, say, like The Boys in the Band or something, where the gay couple weren't sissies or cross-dressers, or the gay or the transvestite wasn't a murderer. It's this time
playing it up as a joke, right?
Yeah, or a joke, or pretending to be gay, like Chuck and Larry. Yeah, My Own Beautiful Laundrette and Buddha of Suburbia are these really, and the reason why those books and the film adaptation of the first one did so well is it's a huge thing on self-identity.
Oh yeah,
and huge. And 80s was also the AIDS crisis, so it was probably like people pretty grief-stricken about that stuff probably went to go watch it, and it wasn't a sad film. You know, it was a film. There's sad scenes, but it's a film that really reflects life. That's a memoir. That's fictional history. So I think I've always read the original My Own Laundrette, My Beautiful Laundrette, and Buddha of Suburbia. They're fantastic.
I'm glad we agree on that one, because like I said, it's like mid 1980s, and so it's like you worry that, all right, is this probably some really homophobic shit right now? I'm not sure, but I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear it held up.
It could have been real homophobia. It could have been panned. It could have been not panned but banned. Because of which,
absolutely,
so
especially in 84,
especially the mid 80s. My God.
So, and another one that I think everyone should absolutely see, again, like judge for yourself whether this is Netflix pandering. I think it's a Netflix documentary, but The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson. Yo, man. Yo. I was hit. I was hit. I was pissed. Like this, like it brought me back to a time where I could definitely say I was closer to the community. You know what I'm saying? Where I really felt like, I was part of a community. And it reminded me of those people. You know what I mean? Like those people who are, fucking proud. So proud. So proud. And it was life and death. And you get that impression when you're watching this documentary that it really was brave ass people. And if you're going to put a representative of gay trans people on Mount Rushmore, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. Like Dr. King and Marsha P. Johnson should absolutely be there, because it hits you. It hits you. It's a lot of interviews, a lot of people that knew her. It was a lot of just getting the camera down to where she lived and what it was that their daily struggle was like, and again, how dangerous it was, how really genuinely dangerous it was, because thank goodness, a young person today doesn't really have that vivid a memory of that time. But there was a time where, if you decided to live this life, your body may turn up somewhere. Yeah. And it was a real thing. And you get that impression and you absolutely fall in love with her. And you not only feel her loss to American culture, but you really feel how, these people at that time really lost an icon. Like this was somebody that was really pushing things, and you could count on her. She wasn't a leader that was going to come up short. And part of that might be because how she died, but again, you felt like you could depend on her in a leadership role, and it was amazing. So I think those are better examples, because I'm just going to go around the list of bad examples. There's a lot. There's a lot of really bad examples in movie and TV, and don't nobody need that. Most of these are things that you could totally skip anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's very well put. And I think, that was the thing about did anyone here know why June is Pride Month?
I used to know.
Educate us. That's why we bring you on. That's
I'm
why
gonna
we bring
flat
you
out
here,
say
buddy.
no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Judy Garland died in around May or June of 1969, and it was at the Stonewall Inn, which is an LGBT, because there were trans women, black and white trans women, at a candlelight vigil for Judy Garland, and the gay bars, as they used to be called, the LGBT clubs, were always raided it was called a vice raid.
Yes.
And they were just like prostitution, just like on the same level of prostitution. And she is Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli subsequently are queer icons. They're just loved, not just by transvestites, by a lot of gay and bisexual men really love them. And they just decided, all the people that were there decided, nope, we're not going to, we're not stopping on this one. And they fought back, and it was 3 days. And so June of 1970, it was the Pride Parade, and it went through Midtown Manhattan, and it was the first gay visibility and gay and trans visibility, because it was a solid decade before AIDS activism. And it was just sort of like, look, we're in your life. We're your unmarried uncles. Come on. And that was when gay visibility really started to take off. And I mean, the sissies in movies continued into the 80s, certainly. But that was why that's why June is Pride Month.
Mike, was that around the same time Harvey Milk gave his iconic speech?
I believe so, because Harvey Milk was murdered around, if he wasn't killed in the late 60s, he was killed in the 70s.
70s, yeah. It was.
He was killed in the 70s.
He was killed in the 70s, yeah. And the birth of the Twinkie defense and all the other terrible shit that comes with that too. So
In a very similar way, and I really don't mean it to mean it. It's just how pop culture works, and in sometimes more magical ways than we want to give it credit for. In very similar ways, in ways I know people who hated video games but were brought to love what video games can do for them by playing like sports games and then expanding their sort of library because of their experiences. I have to say the main reason why I know that speech and the reason why I love that speech, I endear that speech. It's almost like every moment of it just kind of lifts me, is because of a Rage Against the Machine song. I mean, Linkin Park. It's the start of a Linkin Park song. Yeah, you don't have to like it, Greg. And on top of that, my heart goes for every group who finds themselves in this moment that I'm about to say, because frankly, it touches all of us. Greg, in some ways, twice, and sometimes Mike kind of twice. In the sense, it's hard when your heritage and your being is up against stereotypes, good or bad or indifferent, that are created from pop culture. So it's like we're talking about movies, and it's really, I'm sitting here and thinking like, God, it sucks when I have someone walk up to me and basically challenge my being based off of only things they know from movies. And that's definitely something that I would say all of us fall victim to, unfortunately, because of what we're talking about. Like I said, the more I think about it, Mike and Greg, I think you guys might get hit twice, and at least me and Josh get like the single hit, maybe the Western culture American thing if you want to go broad, but for the most part we kind of get just a single hit, black or Jew. Greg, you get the double hit. Mike, you get the double hit if someone wants to hit the Irish side, or the Catholic side. So
absolutely,
yeah, that happens.
and they will.
Yeah, and they will. But like it's as we're talking about it, I mean, I would love to think about movies that kind of shifted me a little bit, but at the same time, I have to consistently remind myself, good, bad, or indifferent. That's just one example of such a wide variety of a culture that it would be really unfair for the person in front of me, regardless of where they sort of fall personally, to hold them up against that my experience, and frankly, my point of view and perception of what I saw. I think that's also speaks to arrogance of human beings and why we even have religion. We believe that what we perceive is the truth because it's what we perceive. It is, I am because I am.
We can't start talking about the truth.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
oh boy.
It's gonna take forever.
That'll be a big
when you're
subject.
talking about yourself, that is true.
Actually,
Rashawn, can't start talking about the truth.
I actually, when Mike and Greg, when you were talking about the movies and sort of the that word the normalization idea, but I will admit it was in the 90s in Four Weddings and a Funeral. That's that's my first memory of a of a typical gay couple, and it wasn't done just for laughs. It wasn't done at just for the stereotype. It's the couple in that. Unfortunately, one of them becomes the part that gives the funeral, and his husband gives a wonderful eulogy, right? Which makes my allergies act up. But no, it is interesting. Like it's just part of the story at that point, right? But it wasn't marketed on that. But at the same time, guess what? Everybody wants to go see a movie. Gay people want to watch movies too. Gay people want to drink beer too. Let's try and do that, shall we?
I love films. I used to drink beer, so yeah, I'd say so. The other thing, it was funny about I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. That same because
we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to talk.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, it's fine. But weirdly enough, that same Adam Sandler and that Happy Madison and everything. There's another film called Big Daddy.
Yep.
And
oh dear.
Yep. That gets a lot of credit.
Total Gen X F up, takes care of these kids. But there's a gay couple, and he's like, and what they say is, yeah, I knew so and so and so and so. We were in the same frat house. Now they just shower together, or now they just watch different porn. And honest to God, that's like the only way to. That's like the best way to describe me and Brian. We're just the same people that you knew in junior high, high school, college, or just your coworkers, whatever. It's just there's just one little, we have the same relationship dynamic. It's just the genders are a little different, but that's it.
Well, that was part of the larger issue, because it really was a question of, how much of it really comes into being, an employee or even being a friend. I mean, most people don't just sit down and talk about the intimate details of their marriage. So, the same way you don't want to know really about this heterosexual couple being together, I don't really need to know about this gay couple being together. But yeah, right. Like, what does that have to do with you getting me my coffee? Like, really nothing. Like, we're just going to have this exchange, whatever it is, and go on with our lives. But at the same time,
Greg was the CEO in this scenario. That's how that was. Michael, fetch me my coffee, will you?
We'll get that right quick, sir.
I like how you act like you don't know what Dunkin' Donuts is, but all right.
Here it is, and I didn't spit in it. Don't worry.
CEO of the people, apparently.
Don't know what that is, but yeah, that's exactly it. Like, in a professional setting, how important is it? But I remember a friend of mine, I tried to help him out best I could, but he got into a bad situation with a place that he was working at, and he was kind of a young guy, and he had forgotten that in some circles, no, you still cannot come out of the closet. And he was very disappointed, because he really thought that these people were his friends. Like, he really thought that they were, but it turned into a huge, ugly situation. And I remember thinking to myself, like, all right, if this is, a place where people are being inappropriate, or if it's some place where there's a lot of people, young people, and they're talking shit, you're going to have these kinds of situations. And you're an older guy, you could say it's that, but it was like, wouldn't you want to be in a situation where you can just talk about what you and your boyfriend or husband did this weekend, and have that not be political? It's not political. My husband and I, we went to a party this weekend. We went to a cookout this weekend. But a lot of people see that as a challenge. A challenge. And to have to think of things in that context, So it is something that I can say that it still is a big problem for a lot of friends of mine in their workplace.
Okay.
Was it really because they said they brought potato salad with raisins to that cookout? Is that why? Is that why it got bad?
I don't see.
I feel like that's where you're trying to help them. That's where
I don't fuck with those people. So no,
you don't know till you know.
Salad.
Don't know till you know.
Those people. I don't fuck with those people.
Hillary, these currants. Are these currants?
Currants?
Raisins. Okay.
I don't fuck with those people.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. Good call. Look at your roster.
True story. Just because I invited the government into my house in the form of an Alexa. She just liked that. I just got an ad. On us all. Yeah, no, exactly. I just got an ad as we're talking about this for ad free on Tubi for the movie In and Out. Remember, with Tom Selleck and oh God, what's his name from Fish Called Wanda? Shit. Why can't I can see his face, but Kevin Kline. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Wait, that's what that movie's about? I've never seen that movie.
Oh, hey, there you go. That was
every time I think of Kevin Kline, I think of Fish Called Wanda.
There's definitely, this was a bit avant-garde as such, but all right. So they're always listening, people. They're always listening and trying to find new ways to take our gay bucks, our gay dollars. And, from my brother sitting behind the counter there at the Blockbuster Video, where, frankly, they banned all adult videos of any kind. Didn't matter what stripe it was. There was no porn at the Blockbuster Video.
I know. I love
everybody knew that.
Yeah.
There was at least once. I would do the closing shift on Sundays. So like 11 p.m. to 11:59 a.m. We had people coming back from the bars. All right, that's fine. But then you'd have a certain other, regardless of sexual proclivity, they came in looking for the goods. And I remember telling one guy, I'm sorry, all we got is Porky's and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Like, I'm sorry, I got nothing.
You've come to the wrong address. I got asked once, and it was like broad daylight in the middle of a Thursday, and I'm like, "You're the secret fucking shopper. Get the fuck out of here, narc. What are you doing?"
Oh,
Yeah, like, oh, you got any adult videos? Like, firstly, he didn't even say porn. He was like, adult videos. Him? Hey, fellow kids.
Jesus.
Wow. Dark days, gentlemen. Those are dark
Gosh,
days.
I said please and thank you.
Okay, I'm
Dark
glad to hear
again.
that.
Why would you want to go back in time?
Did you and make sure that you
Blockbuster was way
rewind that?
better than 520 AD. So
You're wrong. You're just wrong. It's okay
it was
that you're
way
wrong.
better. It was
I mean,
way
we had-
better.
Just wrong.
Greg,
Yeah.
we had Blockbuster, but we did have penicillin. So okay,
Drugs were way better.
there were
It
there
was quite a
some things.
halcyon, wasn't it? We had antibiotics and television and electricity and air conditioning, but we didn't have gay rights yet. So,
So yeah, exactly.
There you
Mike,
have it.
Mike, I am so glad to
Lots
have
of
you on
leads.
here, and thank you as always for coming back here and educating us as you always do. You are
Thank
know,
you.
the man. You are the man with more knowledge in his head on a multitude of subjects. I couldn't even possibly hope to keep up with you. Could you got any? You got
Wait,
any
that 5-minute segment was all I got? Greg got 10. Everyone got 10. I got
Yeah.
5 minutes.
They got 5. You got the 10. I hate to. It's a Rashawn.
I did not
That was
get to 10. I guarantee
was
you
a-
that.
That was a Rashawn 5 minutes, if you know what I'm talking about right there. That was
Wow. There's gonna be some accounting on this.
Oh boy, we're gonna go back. We're gonna check the notes. We'll check the liner notes here.
Yeah,
But
this is when you're gonna tell me 7 minutes is close to 5, and then also 10.
it's kind of like, it's kind of like a shrink's 50-minute hour, right? Mike,
Yes.
any stories? It's a little off topic from what we brought you on for, but any good stories from your parents telling you, when you were getting in the car going to church or anything like that?
a couple.
Okay.
So in the world, all right, so Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out, right? And at some point when Pee-wee gets into Hollywood, he goes by on his bike and goes, "How's it going?" Well, there was this old Benedictine nun, Sister Eileen. She was a total trope, mean old nun with the ruler. I mean, she ran the First Communion. And my parents got in the car, we're leaving mass, and when it comes to Catholic clergy, you always say, "Hello, sister," "Good morning, sister," "Hello, father," "Brother," what have you. And my mother goes, "Hello, sister." My dad goes, "Hi, hi, sister, how are you?" And I rolled down the window and I went, "How's it going?" You heard me.
That's not going to be well received. Nice.
They were this shade. They should have red.
It's a nice crimson.
They were as red as this. I don't want to advertise, but it's a can of tomato paste. They were this shade.
Nice.
They were this shade of potato. I don't want to advertise, but they were this shade of that same shade of the tomato paste. They were that color. And that's the day I learned. The word of the day was clergy, and you say good morning to the clergy. So yeah, yell, "How's it going?" to the general superior at your parish in Wellesley.
I think I'm gonna go do that right now. I think I'm just gonna go walk down the street there. We got St.
Find
Agnes.
a random nun.
We got I got St. Agnes here, in town. That's right.
Ironically, I walked past 3 nuns today.
Hey, there we
Yeah.
go. All right.
She got moved to a parish in Framingham. She got moved to St. Bridget's. So if you
This
had
is
any
downtown
friends-
crossing, but
Oh, right. Whoops. I meant the Ham, but that's all right. You saw nuns in downtown crossing? What were they up to?
well, yeah, working.
Drugs.
Apart from
Drugs.
pushing the orange line, what else were they doing?
Not kidding, they were working. But true story. The one little story into juvenile crime that me and my friends did at Walgreens that may or may not exist in Framingham or may not existed on Pleasant Street. We decided that was the day we were going to shoplift, and when we did, we walked out with all our candy. Didn't get caught, but we walked past nuns, and we never saw nuns going to Walgreens. We never saw nuns after that moment, but in that moment, we walked past a couple of nuns, and we walked right to the trash, just threw our shit away. We're like, "Yep, there it is."
That's
Wow.
a sign. It's a sign. And there
I
was
think we kept the gobstoppers. I mean, I don't want to be out here completely throwing out lies. Like,
Did you?
I don't know if we went completely pious. There's a little bit of a maturation
I was
point.
gonna say, like,
All right.
Still had our arson phase, so it was just on grand larceny, really. And,
Okay, just brought you back from the brink, but well, as I take us out here, I just want to remind you, no matter what type of porn you watch, no matter what type of partner you have, no matter how we identify, no matter what letter or no letter in the LGBTQIA plus community, remember, it's always worth it this spring for the plus there, guys.
Keep going till you get to the S.
That's you can absolutely join us on the socials. We are
Easy, Mike.
Bro?
It's all a spectrum, baby.
It's all a spectrum. You got it. Woohoo. You can join us on socials at Do You Even Steam Bro on Instagram. We are the Steam Gentleman Podcast. On Facebook, we are the Steam G's. On Twitter, till Elon, I don't know, turns the evil eye. It's like Sauron, the evil eye of Elon. That is not the free speech I like.
This is why my time got cut for your Sauron joke.
There we go. That's it. The evil eye of Elon.
I hope he saw it.
Turns towards. Yeah, I probably did actually. I see you. And make sure to go on over to Apple. Make sure to go over to Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you go to rate and review podcasts. We really can need the help. Have seen some people. Santa Monica, California. I see you out there. 80 downloads all on your own. So you're probably still working your way through this. But when you get to this episode, we see you. We love you. I see you. Out of the evil eye of Elon. So we're taking it out. Mike, what you got going on? What you got going on for the rest of the week?
Rest of the week, I will be at a little place called Mohegan Sun on Thursday night at the Comics Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then at the last Friday in June, I think it's like the 29th, I'll be headlining at a nightclub in Manchester, Connecticut, which I cannot remember the name of, but it'll be one of my first headlines. So I'm looking forward to that.
And fucking tastic. All right. Well, you keep sending that, and please send us those details on the socials, and I'll get anything you want to put in the description here if you got some material you want to put up so that people can see your fantastic and funny side there.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. It's just great. This is always a good conversation. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. This is the second year in a row, fourth time on. Means a lot, and it's really great talking to you folks. It's great.
Yeah, we love having you here.
I was gonna say we have to do this more often.
Please.
Absolutely. Brashan, so since I apparently owe you some time, let's hear what you got going on for the rest of the week here. I want to make sure the numbers balance out.
Yeah, you're not getting any of that since the man decided to cut me down. I'm just going to go ahead and get to the point that I was going to make, which is every right that we have in this country, every right for every stripe comes down to money. And if you don't understand that, you really need to understand how this government moves. You need to understand why the government was even created. It's always going to be about money. It's always going to have to be about money because you have to pay for shit. So while we get upset because one group gets a little more credit than others, or while one group may get, six pack or blah, 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 just understand every single right that we have, be it public education, to how we have streets, to why we even have electricity and water throughout our entire residences. All these different things, whether you call them rights, call them privileges, whatever you want, it comes down to money. And as Mike pointed out, if they can sell it, they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Reach.
Each and every time. Go ahead.
All right. Now, just loving it. Just feeling, getting a little bit from that sermon. Getting it. We're feeling it.
No. You're still the man. Don't try to butter me up.
Oh, I'm always trying to butter you. I'm always trying to butter you up. Come on. It's just not just because it's Pride Month. Come on.
When the revolution happens, we're coming to your house.
Okay, fair enough. I'll have the brisket. So we got that going on. I'll have the brisket.
Fairly certain if the revolution happens, I'm screwed too. So
the revolutions get like that, don't they? They just get a little messy. Greg, are you
your
kicking
house
off
has
the revolution?
doors?
Are Are you kicking off the revolution this weekend, Greg, or what you got going on for the rest of the week?
I mean, my goal is to enjoy my Father's Day and do shit and close to nothing. And I mean, the revolution, no, it's fine. No one really wants a revolution.
It won't be televised.
No one.
They won't make a podcast about it.
No one really wants a revolution. It's okay.
Right. But
that reminds me of the end of Don't Look Up. Where my guy's like, yo, what's up? It's me. Don't forget to follow me. Oh, it's so genius.
Oh, definitely works.
Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Happy Juneteenth. Can't forget that coming up on Monday.
Talking about corporate dollars.
Yeah, there you go. I did see. Well, I remember sending you guys the Juneteenth ice cream last year. So I could do my part. I just want.
Don't worry, because this country's already kicking into hyper gear. Because I've seen Juneteenth ads that have 0 people who would have celebrated Juneteenth or even known about Juneteenth 2 years ago. So don't worry, this country has already. I just literally talked about money. Here we are, people.
Here we are. Yeah.
Get your commemorative dashikis ready. That's it. Get it now before 10 years from now when Nike's kicking it out to you. And you can say you had one before it was cool.
I will rock that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Can I say one thing from the peanut gallery?
You got it.
Which was a racist term. Sorry.
You know how like that R word like really bothers me. I don't know. But I was gonna say we have like mattresses and car dealerships have Veterans Day and Memorial Day events. But that's Memorial Day is the Civil War. I'm really worried as F that if there's Juneteenth stuff, there's gonna be 9/11 mattress and pillow sales on 9/11, and that's really bugging me. And that's gonna happen.
That's altogether possible.
What do you mean gonna? Look, man, you need to be driving
in a way,
it already
has happened.
Yeah, that horse is well out of that barn. And to be fair to Mike, he's not racist. His comments are racist. People just need to understand that phrase, which we all use, myself included, has racist origins. No different than Mickey Mouse's gloves, or frankly, all the cartoon white gloves.
Yeah, it's good. Read your history, people. Read your history. That's part of what we're here for. That's part of the mission of the Steam, gentlemen, is to try, help people learn this stuff out there. A little education, little laugh, little making you feel uncomfortable. That's and maybe some socially awkward moments that I can lean into.
I feel like the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland.
Who are you? All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, Steam people, for coming out and joining us once again. My name is Josh, and once again reminding you to keep your heat up and keep your head of steam on.